What is going on? What is good, everyone? It is the Crooked Commish with the Chicago Clubhouse Network here with the Bears and 49ers pre-game show. A little bit different today. Normally, as Bears fans, we are normally used to the morning games. We're already, supposed to be, getting to halftime pretty much here. But today, since we're playing on the west side, we're over on the West Coast playing with the 49ers here. We're the afternoon games, so not too many afternoon games over with us as Bear fans that we have to deal with. Usually, if we're not playing in the morning, that means we're in the prime time type of game. So, but regardless, playing the Niners here, looking forward to going against them. They are definitely beatable, this year for sure. At the beginning of the season, I think when we saw this game, we kind of were looking at this game as it would be an important game because we'd both be looking at a playoff spot there. I think now our playoff spots, the Bears' playoff spots, is definitely kind of out the window, whatnot. But the Niners, they're getting there. They only have one more win than we do. So the season's definitely not working out the way that they were hoping for as well. But regardless, the Bears do need to try and end this losing streak here. We have a new head coach. Thomas Brown is new as the interim head coach here. He's taken over the head coaching duties from Matt Eberflus. Like I said, that's all the guy knew how to do here is lose games. Like I said, I get this first year was a throwaway season because they were getting rid of a lot of talent to create cap space and for Ryan Poles to bring in his guys that he wanted to fit his system and Eberflus's system. But like I was saying earlier in the pre-game show, he did not learn anything from that losing season at all. So, and you can't just continue to lose as a head coach. Eventually, you would just find your way out the door. So, but regardless, and with that all being said, let me go ahead and bring in some of the people here that we have on the show. We are going to cross enemy lines here and bring in someone that, if you watch our fantasy show, you're very familiar with. This guy is my co-host here. He is the loudest mouth in fantasy football and definitely the mouth from the Bay. And we'll bring him in, the mouth.
Hey, go! Fucking game day, bitches. Like take that, help you take that L fucking super hard. Let's go. Let's go.
Calm the fuck down. So,
this is my calm, bitches.
Coming in hot.
This is my calm.
Thank you for joining us, Mouth. Hopefully, when my other co-hosts get here, I'll bring them in as well. But for now, it's just going to be you and I, which is fine because, like I said, we're familiar with each other doing the fantasy football show on Monday nights here at the Chicago.
Yeah, I just like you a little less today.
I like you a lot less today.
I was trying to be nice, but yeah, fuck you too.
Like I said, that gold is pretty disgusting looking. I'm more of a silver guy myself. So,
well, you like that second place because you get used to it. That's just going to be there. Take that silver and run with it, buddy.
The gold just doesn't look right. But anyways, what do you call it? The season definitely has not worked out the way that you guys were hoping for at the beginning of the season. Like I said, we were looking at this game and thinking, hey, when we see each other, this may be a playoff seeding type of matchup, or maybe somebody is going to knock each other out. Like it's going to be an important game. And unfortunately, our season's not working out the way, we were hoping for. But also for you, the injury bug has definitely hit you guys pretty hard this season. Give us your thoughts on your Niners team this season.
It's been definitely disappointing. higher goals. They're picked preseason to make another Super Bowl run. So it's definitely been, sour pill to swallow to see them to be this, be this horrible. To be honest, like they've had some pretty bad games where they just, mental mistakes, penalties, special teams. It's been kind of defense has been pretty much a freeway up the middle. So it's definitely been one of those years where you just kind of hope that it's not a rebuilding year, just a retool year. We might get a pretty decent draft pick if we don't make the playoffs. Be somewhere in the low teens, somewhere around there. Usually we're back at the back of the draft, getting kind of whatever we can get the past few years, which hasn't really worked out for us.
Ricky Purcell has not replaced the guys that you lost at all. I know.
No, like he did get shot in the chest, so I gave him a little reprieve, and I'm just happy that he's okay and everything like that. But it doesn't help. But he hasn't really been any kind of a difference maker on the outside or on the inside, especially after Brandon Ayuk went down. He was kind of hoping that he might take some of that, those route running, offensive plays and do something with them. But I think he only has like one game where he had like a few catches that were kind of impactful in the game, but he really hasn't had I would say like a moment in a game where like, that's what we picked him. That's why we drafted him.
That's why he's a first round pick.
Yeah, exactly. So if anything, it's been nice to see Quan Jennings, come up and actually do that. Be that guy. Who knows how many more games we would have lost if he wouldn't have been on the roster.
What's the story with that guy? Was he a guy that you guys drafted years ago, or was he a free agent signing? Where did he come from?
No, we had him on the roster years ago. He was just someone that just couldn't really get any kind of run. He was someone that was just low on the depth chart. Whenever he came in, he's someone that made impactful plays. He was third and one for the longest time. That guy came up with huge third downs for us over the last 2-3 years, and it probably would have been a Super Bowl MVP. So him getting that contract, which was, like I said, still now I think it was 2 years, like $19 million. So it didn't pay him much for him to be the production that he's had, especially he got a huge game early in the year. And he got a little dinged up, but he's been pretty much someone that's been the go-to guy for Brock Purdy. So it would be nice to see a couple more guys show the fuck up. But Debo is MIA for the whole year. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he thinks he's getting traded already, but he's still playing for the 49ers. So it'd be nice if he actually showed the fuck up and actually plays the ball, because he's been non-existent this year too. So it's been a disappointing year all the way around.
I have to say I'm pretty surprised that you guys have not used him in the run game as often as you had. Like in prior years, you guys used him in the run game when you guys' running backs kind of gotten hurt. And this year, obviously, McCaffrey missed the first 10 games of the season. And you still didn't really see too many handoffs or Debo in the backfield, as much, like I said, as you've seen him in years past.
Well, all those gimmick plays haven't really panned out, like the bubble screens, the quick hitters, everything that kind of made him the king of yak. This year he hasn't done that, and when he has run the ball, he hasn't been effective. So it's been something I think they kind of got away from, because for whatever reason, he hasn't had those lanes, or he just hasn't hit anything that's made it worthwhile to keep putting him back there and do something like that with him. Not this year, anyway. I said, I don't know if he figured that he's getting traded already, but he still plays for the 49ers.
It could be because he changed his number from number 19. That number 1 just isn't suiting him. But he is a different player. He's not as explosive.
And I have heard a lot about people saying, he's past his prime and everything. The guy's like 30-something years old. He can't be as a wide receiver. You know what I mean? Yeah, he had that 1 year where he kind of took a little bit of a beating, but it was all pro that year. You know what I mean? He had like 600 or 700 yards rushing, almost 1,000 yards receiving, and all those touchdowns, and he got paid for it. And since then he really hasn't been. He has those really horrible down years, and he comes back and he bounces back, and then he has a breakout year again. But this year he hasn't had any kind of any impact on the game, really. He's had a couple 100-yard receiving games, but even then, those were sneaky 100-yarders. Where I didn't know he caught like 5 or 6 balls for 100 yards. They were quiet 100-yard games.
And that's usually something you definitely don't say with the caliber player of Debo. Typically he has a big game like that, or games where he breaks 100 yards. It's in key moments, and it's big time plays that where he's making throughout the game. So, but moving forward here, there's been a lot of talk, and I mean a lot of talk about your head coach and the team possibly moving on for him. There's other 49er fans, that you hear on different podcasts, and even some chatter on the major networks and whatnot about Kyle Shanahan. Maybe the message has gone a little stale, a little dead there. He's been there for about 8 years. And I think one of the John Madden's major quotes and whatnot is after 10 years at one place, the head coach, they need to move on, just because he kind of eventually starts to lose the locker room, whatnot. Not that he's necessarily doing anything bad or whatnot, but just the fact that the players kind of just start to tune the coach out, Obviously there's some exceptions to the rules when you get to a Bill Belichick and whatnot. That guy, was a staple with the Patriots for, damn near 20 years. But what are your thoughts of the chatter of the Niners moving on from the head coach and whatnot? Is that something that you're in favor of, or are you on the opposite tree of you want to keep him?
That's where we get that nickname, the Whiners, because if we would win a Super Bowl or two, then no one would say shit. If he would have won last year, no one would say shit. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. All the guy's done is come and take us to NFC championships and Super Bowls. Now, it does suck to fucking lose them. Absolutely. Like, there's nothing like getting there and not finishing, especially the fucking Chiefs 2 times. You know what I mean? But it's crazy to me to think that who do you think is going to come in there and replace him and do just as good or a better job? I mean, it sucks that the 2 years really that we didn't make the playoffs or, didn't do nothing is because we were destroyed by a bunch of injuries that year too. But since then, if we're healthy and we're doing everything that we're going to do on both sides of the ball, we've been in the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. So sit there and act like all of a sudden he's a fucking bum. He doesn't know how to coach, and you know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Like, I guarantee you, all those players love being in that position. They'd rather be in that position and have a chance to fight for it and be in that situation every year rather than be a fucking 5-14 team or whatever the hell and be at the bottom of the league every year. I guarantee you, if he decides to leave for whatever reason, he's burnt out or whatever it is, he's going to get 25 fucking phone calls within an hour. People are going to go there and see what he's doing, how he feels. Someone's going to throw him.
My team being one of them too. We would
definitely. Yeah, exactly. Someone's going to give him freaking 5 years and $60 million right away. You know what I mean? That's just not being stupid about it. The guy's a top tier coach, and you can say whatever it is about the Super Bowl that he lost whatever in Atlanta as a defensive coordinator, and he's been 2 times with us, but it's ridiculous. You know what I mean? These people are bitching, complaining to the bitch complain because we haven't won it. And I get it. It fucking sucks to go to the Super Bowl and see your team fucking lose, especially in the last second. Be right there. I grew up with us always winning Super Bowls. I thought that's where it's always going to fucking be. Like, we go Super Bowls and we win. The last 3, we've been down to the last few minutes and the last possession, and it hasn't went our way. But you can't sit there and all of a sudden think that, he's just forgot how to coach or the team doesn't like him or anything like that, because you don't see he's infighting. There's nobody going on Instagram or Twitter or whatever the hell it's called now, X, and talking shit. You know what I mean? There's no infighting, in the locker room. There's nothing like that. Like, I'm sure people would have already reported it that, the team doesn't respond to him or do anything like that anymore, but you don't hear that kind of noise. You don't hear that kind of chatter or anything like that. So for me, anybody who's saying we need to get rid of him, like, they're bandwagon fucking Niner fans, and they're just been there the last 6 or 7 years, and they're fucking crying because we haven't won it yet. Like, they forget about the 10 years of darkness that we had, when the Niners were like Mike Nolan and all these years that we sucked, and we talked about yesterday, and we had Jim Harbaugh for a few years, and then we went right back into the fucking dark times. Mike Tomasula, like all these head coaches that did nothing with this roster, and he came in and he's turned it around. Do I think some of his things have gotten stale and some of his gimmick plays have probably got caught up to? Yeah, I think he does need a little bit of help to bounce some new ideas off and think of some new ways to kind of get the offense going. But you know, when you got a way of doing things, especially when you get Christian McCaffrey for a year that they had him, and you see the way that the offense just responded, and then you see how bad we really were especially in the red zone. We went from first to I think damn near dead last into scoring touchdowns. You know what I mean? So personnel does matter, and I don't think Kelson ever forgot how to fucking coach. It's just they haven't been able to execute.
So basically, there's no coach out there at all that you would even be intrigued. Like if they were to move on, or even in a trade situation to where he gets traded to a different team, and you get some sort of valuable.
I mean, I'm sure we'll get a couple of first rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be great. But I mean,
and then
who's going to coach those guys?
A Ben Johnson, or you know what I mean? Just because just to throw some hot names out there, like the Ben Johnson.
I'm sure.
You got
for me, I don't know who else would be, that's a coordinator or a head coach somewhere else that's going to come and duplicate what this man
Bill Belichick? I mean, that's another name that, as a Bears, that's getting thrown out there. So
honestly,
Belichick to.
Because I mean, if you look at Belichick's coaching, if you look at Bill Belichick's coaching career, he's only won when he's had Tom Brady. Other than that, he's under a 500 coach, and now he's going there sniffing in college ranks, seeing what's going on over there, going to UNC, whatever that is. So no, I mean, like we talked about the other day, I think the people who would have been someone that I would like to have seen are the coordinators that we lost. I would have loved to see Mike McDaniels get elevated. I would love to see DeMeco Ryans on our sideline, but their head coach is somewhere else. I mean, that was the whole thing about when you're at the final four teams in the NFL. Normally, your coordinators are going to get taken away. And then we just the well ran dry. Yeah, the well ran dry when it kept elevating people from inside our organization, and Sorensen hasn't been the answer on defense. And our defense has given up a couple 10-point leads in the fourth quarter this year. That I think 3 wins or we would have had were in the final few minutes of the game that our defense just didn't make a stop. And right now, if those 3 wins would have been on the other side of the column, we'd be fighting for.
You'd be leading your division.
We'd be leading our division. Be fighting for a higher seed. You know what I mean? I'd at least be a 3rd seed right now. And it's one of those things where the special teams has been horrible all year long, and the defense hasn't been fixed. And that I can give anybody who wants to say anything about Shanahan, that he's the head coach, he needs to step in and do something about it. And that I'll 100% will back anybody who says, he's failed the team this year on that stance, because our special teams has been fucking horrible. Our defense can't stop anybody, but he runs up the gut of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things where you jumped into Steve Wilkes' ass last year and it worked. And I haven't heard him say anything to freaking Sorensen at all this year. Nick Sorensen has been pretty horrible with his play calling, and that drive against Seattle, knowing that we had Joey Bosa already out of the game, and then all of a sudden Seattle freaking wakes up. He did nothing to stop he didn't send no blitzes. He didn't say anything. It was just try to run with the 4 and try to stop him. And freaking Geno Smith tore him apart. As soon as Joey Bosa went out the game, that game turned. And he did nothing to stop it. There was no adjustments, no anything. And that's on the head coach, not just as much as the defensive coordinator.
So, looking forward to this upcoming game, is there anything, being that we're friends, we kind of been watching, games together this week or this year a lot. So you've gotten to see my team quite a bit, kind of doing some scouting in a sense. Is there anything that you see from Chicago at all on the offensive side that gives your defense a bit of pause, or gives you any kind of slight concern? Are you worried about anything on our offense at all? Or are you thinking that this game is like your get-right game playing us?
right now, like fortunately for the Niners, there is no get right game. They're playing down to every fucking team they are, and any team they got to get up for, they're not playing. They're not getting up for it.
Mhm.
This got waxed by Green Bay and fucking Buffalo in the cold. You know what I mean? And on top of it, like
Yeah.
we are talking, we didn't only get our ass kicked. We lost players that to the IR. So I mean, for me, like I do worry about the run, the run defense on us. I mean, I worry about getting play action pass to death because the Swift gets going and starts breaking out chunk yards and doing things like that. There's our defensive line is nothing without Joey Bosa right now. Like, Leonard Floyd has come over and he's had a couple good series where he does something here or there, but he doesn't have a consistent pressure and he becomes non-existent without Bosa so far, and without Hargrave, there is no one up the middle that's stopping anything. Everybody's kind of rushing past their lines, and that's what scares me. Is that Caleb's going to get a lot of open lanes to move up in the pocket and just take off, and extend, get like a 39 and get a freaking first down. That absolute backbreaker, extending the drive and get points off of. I see that our defensive line has not been disciplined, whatever, when it comes to rushing the passer without Joey Bosa there to apply the pressure and get sacks and do things like that. That defensive line has been even just as bad or worse than our offensive line. So,
well, we definitely have similar issues. We definitely have similar issues because our defensive line, especially after we lost Andrew Billings in the middle, as it was already a liability, but after losing him, it definitely became a real liability to where teams are gashing us for 6-8 yard runs and whatnot. So I'm just as worried on the opposite side as well as your guy. The only difference is, thankfully, in a bad way, McCaffrey, we don't have to deal with McCaffrey. We don't have to deal with the Jordan Mason. I'm not too familiar with your third string running back and how hard he runs and whatnot.
Well,
before we get into that real quick, let me go ahead and bring in my co-host here. He's waiting in the background here. So Coach Chef, we were on here a little earlier doing it with our pregame show, talking about the Bears' new head coach or interim head coach. So let me bring him in. Coach Chef, welcome to the show. Oh, the claw!
Oh,
it's back. It makes him back. We didn't have I thought you said he had to win before we see.
You're right.
Claw.
You're right. I didn't. It was better than me doing this like I was a mime or something. So
we were just talking about the Bears game against the 49ers here coming up here. And,
fuck you, this fucking game.
Hey, whoa! This is a fucking family show. Calm your fucking mouth.
Hey, for all the family members out there, fucking dick.
So, Mouth was saying that he was worried about his defensive line and about Swift possibly having a good running game against them because that's kind of the vulnerability. But then I was also saying, on the flip side, that's definitely our same issue as well as our defensive line, and we're vulnerable in the run game. What are your thoughts on it real quick?
Bro, the 49ers are minus 25 for the first time under Shanahan since 2020. Like, the entire team, like, who you all playing with? Who's playing today?
Like, I know we got a lot of people on IR.
Practice squad guys. Practice squad guys.
We're running with the third string running back right now.
As a Bears fan, the only thing you can say as a Bears fan is you play who you play. You only play who's on the schedule, and injuries don't matter. But like, if we as a Bears fan, just off the top, is like if we don't win this game, like, oh, holy shit. Aaron Brooks, Nick Bosa, Dre Greenlaw, Jordan Mason, Odom, Trent Williams. And he's out too. Flanagan, Flowers. Yeah, man. They goddamn Brock overrated Purdy. I mean,
hey-oh.
Come on, bro.
Shots.
You gonna play that game?
You're gonna play this game.
Are you guys giving Purdy a new contract? What kind of contract are you guys giving Purdy this season then?
Come on, man. You don't believe in Purdy like that.
He does.
I do believe in a guy like that. Like, other quarterbacks have been in that system and not done shit with what they had to work with, and the guy all he did was fucking go to Super Bowl and go to a freaking NFC Championship game in his first few years. So I mean, you can sit there and talk shit that the guy's not worth it, whatever. But everybody's a system quarterback to some extent, and the guy sits out there and then makes plays outside.
I'm just saying, you're not.
I don't want to pay that. I don't want to pay $60 million. I don't want to pay $60 million.
Exactly. That's my point.
But I do understand he's going to get paid at least 50 something. Like we were talking about it the other day. Like I think he needs to get the 4 years, and he's going to get over $200 million because that's just what quarterbacks make now. I mean, that's just the way it's the price of doing business. Yeah, it's the price of doing business. And yeah, I mean, so if Tua is getting $50 million, all these other guys are getting $50 million. Like Lawrence is getting over $50 million. Like I understand, like Joe Burrow, freaking Lamar Jackson, all these guys should be getting that amount because those guys are perennial MVP candidates. But no matter who you are now, you're going to get paid as a QB. And if you've done anything in the league for a few years, you're going to make money. That's just the way it is now.
And you're right about that.
Coach Jeff, real quick, we got a comment coming in from our general manager, John, here. If you want to win the game, Bears 4-1 in games where Caleb throws under 30 passes. If you want to lose the game, Caleb is 0-7 in games where he throws over 30 passing attempts. Clearly take the ball out of his hands to win the game.
Oh my gosh, you sound like that guy from when we did our pre-show about coaching potential head coaches. Look, he's a rookie.
He's a GM, though.
You don't want the guy throwing 40 passes, but let's not act like we were not in these one-score games the last 3 games. Yes, they're losses. I'm not talking about taking moral victories. I'm saying that we cannot be a one-sided offensive team. We cannot just sit back and like, hey, we're just going to put Caleb 7 yards deep and shotgun and we're going to slang that thing. Let's have a balanced offense to show the aspects of what we have when we are as healthy as we can be, and we can win the game. Caleb can win the game. We can win. I mean, statistically, we have not won a game when he throws 30 passes, but that's not reality. Yes, we know he's the 30th most sacked quarterback in completion rate. Hey, what is he rank when he gets rid of the ball less than 3 seconds? Where does Caleb rank versus the blitz? He's a top 10 quarterback. Like, it's great when you have stats that fit your narrative. But how about you look at all the stats? Oh, you know what? Caleb never wins on a Tuesday night. The Bears don't play on fucking Tuesday night. Who fucking cares? Like, come on, man. I'm sorry. I'm fucking on 3.5 hours of sleep now. Like, let's stop with the math that you can name a bunch of stats. Oh, the 49ers are going to win whenever McCaffrey doesn't play when hell freezes over every Wednesday after St. Patrick's Day. They don't fucking play in March. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay.
Somebody's fired up.
Anyway,
I'm tired. I'm so tired.
A little bit.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired.
He's sick, tired, and he's sick and tired.
No, it's
sick and tired.
Okay.
So sick and tired being sick and tired.
I'm a stat guy. Yes. I acknowledge stats, but the stats have to fit the full picture. You can't. Okay. I mean,
if I can say this without being. That's what I was saying earlier. Though, is like if Swift does take over the game and he's able to do stuff like that, then Caleb won't be throwing 30 times a game. So he'll be throwing around. He'll be like 19 for 25 with like 250 and 2 touchdowns, and we're gonna get our asses whipped. If Swift goes over, like gets his 15, 20 touches or whatever it is, and he's runs for $125 and a touchdown himself, we're gonna get our asses kicked because that's what's been happening with us lately. You know what I mean? He won't be throwing 30 times, but if it's a game where he gets behind, he makes a couple mistakes, and he has to throw 30 plus times to kind of catch up into the game. Well, that works in his favor too. But it works in your favor too because our secondary's been giving up fucking leads in the fourth quarter all year long. So either way, it doesn't matter how this fucking game might go. We still might fucking lose.
Yeah, they're on a 3-game losing streak. The last close game 49ers had was the loss to Seattle. I mean, it's a game of attrition, essentially. The old school saying, like, your best availability is availability. Like, you just don't have enough guys. Like, you only have so many guys who can play. When you've got perennial all pros, like that, it's not the 49ers don't have like one All-Pro and like one Pro Bowler. They have like 2 or 3 All-Pros and like 4 Pro Bowlers not playing. It's still a game of football like any given Sunday. The Bears need to come out and to establish themselves. It's the saying a coach said to me, and a saying that someone else, I think they said it, Thomas Brown said, you have to leave no doubt. You have to go out resoundingly out here today and prove that you are the better team because they don't have enough guys. I mean, the Bears have been competitive in practically almost every game except for the New England game. And I think that's it. We've been not competitive in. Maybe the Cardinal game, but no, we was in the Cardinal game. The Cardinal game. Cardinal and New England, the only 2 games we have not been competitive in. And so the Bears, although they're not the favorite because they're the away team, I think they're plus 3.5 unless they lowered it again. They should come out of here and this should be a somewhat
at 3.
This should be a somewhat decisive type of win, including Purdy is 16-6. Okay. Yes, we know. Purdy also has the best. He's also the best quarterback Shanahan has had since Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
So I mean, like this. Guess what?
Game manager over off-script nonsense.
And
at some point, like everybody's a game manager. They can manage the game at some point.
You give me Purdy's record this year. Guess what? Purdy this year is 5-6. So what?
Yeah.
Let's make the stats. No. He personally, his record, he's 11 games. He's 5-6.
He missed the game.
He's 5-6. His interceptions have gone up this year. His QBR is 64.9, which is still above average, but it's not to the standard of what he had before. And it's a plethora of reasons. He didn't have McCaffrey. He doesn't have receivers. It's still
Although Jordan Mason did fill in pretty well for McCaffrey
at the beginning of the season, he had 100.
He got hurt too
in the first 4 weeks. He has not had that. They're playing with their third string guy Isaac. How you say his name?
Window.
Oh, Gwindo. Okay, I was gonna say Gennaro, kind of like I was gonna say Gennaro, like it was
very generic. Yeah.
No. It's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. Die Hard. It was John McClane's wife's maiden name.
Oh, okay.
So I was gonna say Isaac Gennaro.
So how do you feel about your third string running back, Mouth? Like, do you think he's going to be able to fill in just as well as Mason did?
Honestly, the few times that Mason got hurt in games and he had to step in, like, in the middle of a game, guy is a legitimate track star. The guy runs like 4.340. So he gets to the outside. He does not get caught. Like the one time he actually stopped at the goal line, he was going to break off like a 70-yarder and started to slide for whatever reason. Like, you know what I mean? But the guy is not a very big running back, so durability, I'm not sure how much you can, run him.
Okay,
that's the one thing.
Maybe we'll see Debo in the backfield a bit more.
I think you might see a little Debo in the backfield. I think
you're going to
switch some stuff up like that again sometime because they had to go. They went and pick somebody up off the practice squad that I've never even heard of this guy, just to give more bodies in that running back room because they don't have anybody. I mean. Gotcha. Losing 2 guys, you're basically your top 2 running backs in the same game. I mean, you don't have a whole lot behind him. So I mean, Gwindo, he can fill in pretty well. He's not going to be that smash mouth runner that Jordan Mason was. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he has the same skill set even close to McCaffrey to come out of the backfield and make those catches and do things like that. But he's definitely shown if he hits a crease, he's going to be fucking gone. So hopefully he can hit one or two today. I'd like to see him hit a couple off the top, take the top off, but it's one of those things too. Like offensive line without Trent Williams is not the same. Whatever they lose, Madden 99 on that side, and that's the way they like to run the ball. No matter who's running back is back there, but when you lose Trent Williams, the offensive line turns from okay to mediocre pretty quick.
Coach Jeff, you're on mute. You're trying to say something.
No, I was talking to my boys. Here's a real question I have. I know this is off scale, but I don't know if you all covered it. I know I missed the first about 20 minutes. Okay. I don't think this is realistic. I don't think that the organization for the 49ers is going to do this. I don't think that John Lynch is going to do that. what percentage chance do you give on Shanahan returning next year? I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I give him literally a 99.9% chance of returning next year.
Right now, the only way I see any one of these guys going is if one of these guys, leave. Like if John Lynch steps down, then I think Shanahan, time would be limited. And the same thing if Lynch, let Shanahan, off the hook, or however you want to say, or he went, then John Lynch's job would be in jeopardy too. These guys have been married together since they've come to the Niners. So only way I see something like that happening is if Shanahan goes out there on the podium and tells the whole organization to fuck off. You know what I mean? They're not going to fire him. They're not going to let him.
Because he's still on the contract, right? He's still on the contract.
Still on the contract. He's still under contract, and I think to the 25 or 26 season. So he's not a lame duck, coach where like how they have in Dallas right now. Like McCarthy. So I don't think Brazil. I don't think they're going to trade him.
Him getting traded is the most likely thing.
I mean, if that was to happen, it'd have to be like insane. It'd have to be like 3 first-rounders to get from him, something like that, something crazy. But even then, like I don't know who you're going to go out there and go get that would fill that void. Like we talked about earlier, like there's no splash hire. There's no coordinator out there, no hot coordinator that's going to come in.
Ben Johnson.
I think he's a career coordinator. I don't see that guy stepping up to. He's had chances to leave already. You know what I mean? You can talk about unfinished business all you want, but if you want to go out there and be the man, he had chances to leave already, and he didn't take them.
Now that takes me back to Ben Johnson. Like the people, like typically when a head coach wants a job, bro, they want to be a head coach. They're gonna go be a head coach regardless of the situation,
exactly.
Bro.
They're gonna leave.
Right. I've asked for the past a decade and a half, why would anyone voluntarily choose the Jets or the Browns to take over as a head coach based on their organizations? Because people want a job. So if Ben Johnson really wanted to be a head coach last year, he's looking for the perfect situation. So, look, I just don't think.
I mean, every year there's like 10 or 12 teams are looking for head coach. That guy's had chances to go out and find the perfect job to go do.
Especially last year.
The perfect job. I mean, especially like he could have went to Washington. You know what I mean? And he would have had a chance to, be a head coach right there with you know what I mean? Like, and there's so many chances almost every year. Every year you damn well know that. I mean, coaches aren't going to last the whole year. We already got 3 coaches who got fired this year in season. You know what I mean? So at the end of the year, there's
more.
Exactly like that. That Black Monday, that Black Monday comes in. There's going to be a handful more, head coaching jobs that are opened up. So he's had chances like this. So the hot guy is always been Ben Johnson because of just how good the offense looks in Detroit.
But I'm not saying he's not a good offensive coordinator.
But he's not going to. He's not taking Gibbs Montgomery with him. He's not taking Amos St. Rahal with him wherever job he has. So,
right.
He's had opportunity. He's had opportunities to go into places and do other things, and I just think he might just be one of those guys that's just better as a coordinator. You know what I mean? When you got so much more responsibilities to go as a head coach, I don't think he wants that. He hasn't shown that he wants it. You know what I mean? And if they go out and win a Super Bowl, and maybe he finally takes the leap to go somewhere else, good for him. But I just don't see him going in and being that person that comes in and just being like a McVay or Shanahan or LaFleur and being or Mike McDonald's and just going there and just and being the guy that the organization needed to take them over the top.
So your team is also the 49ers are also kind of starting to age. Like we talk about all the talent they have, but you've got McCaffrey who.
Let me
go ahead.
Let me go ahead and bring in our other co-host that just hopped in right now. He's a guy. He's definitely got something to say about this game because he is always on level 10, and that means he's amped the fuck up. Amp, welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
Gentlemen, I'm good. Crooked Commish. What's up, Chef?
Yo, what's good, brother?
Yo.
Welcome to Mouth from
Living
the
the
Bay,
dream,
our
baby.
49er guest here. So be kind to him.
You know me. I'm always kind. How you doing, man? How you doing?
I do know
How's it going, bro? How's it going?
Living the dream, baby. Living the dream. Mm-hmm. So go ahead, continue. I was listening.
Yeah. Finish your
listening.
thoughts real quick, and then we'll let Amp kind of chime in since he's just getting in here and give us his thoughts on this game. So go ahead, Coach Jeff. Finish what you were saying.
No, I was just asking about the future because I don't buy into this because a lot of this is a time of the year where you can't recycle the same story. So as Bears fans, people you hear like, oh, Shanahan might none of us believe that Shanahan's going to be available.
Right.
But the roster is aging. There are slightly some issues with the roster aging and being injury prone. McCaffrey, Trent Williams. I mean, essentially, he's a technically year-to-year player. He's 35. He's a left tackle who's been in the league over a decade. What are you as a 49er fan, your prospects for the past few drafts and how they've gone, and the has the team been developing and growing as far as other aspects of positions that are not as who do you have on the D line that you see up and coming that's coming in the draft? Who do you have on the offensive line?
Like they did a good job of drafting this last year for that guard, the kid Puny. There's I think a right guard. The guy hasn't given up any pressures or sacks the whole year. He was a surprise. But you are right. Like the one thing that does worry me is that the offensive line is not the same when Trent Williams is not there. And he is basically he did sign a contract. I mean, he did. I mean, it's Madden 99. You can't fuck around with that. That's just the way it is. I mean, but
yeah.
He just signed a contract extension this offseason to get some actual money to play with. But I mean, after his tragic, the Niners have lost 2 players have lost children this year, and so it's up to him now when it comes to family. Like if he wants to stick around and play, I mean, he's someone I think that could probably play for another like 4 or 5 years if he really wanted to. That guy is, he's a freak of nature on that left side. So I mean, it's kind of desired to him and what his family wants to do.
A bit.
No, I mean that's one thing that if he wants to play, like he's gonna be there's gonna be an open room for him no matter what. I mean, so that does worry me. Like someone like Kittles, I think is someone that's like we were talking about last night. Me and Commish, that he's someone the way he plays, he might have another 2 or 3 years and that's it for him too. Just the style of football that he plays and how just demanding of the way he plays and how hard he hits and the way he takes everybody the hell out. That guy doesn't back up from no one. He'll put a defensive end on their ass. You know what I mean? But and how much longer can he keep doing that at the level that he's doing it at? I mean, one thing that they've actually done, something that's crazy, is they went and got Lenore and they gave him a big contract. And Green looks like someone's a keeper. Mustafa looks like he's a keeper. Brown has good and bad days, but that back end is pretty young. Ofunga comes back and he's still relatively young. Fred Warner is getting to that 30-year-old range, but I mean that guy, he's someone who wants to play for till he's 35, 36. He could do himself. But it's definitely there's what sucks is the depth. We don't have no depth. Yeah, it's one.
If you guys happen to not re-sign Purdy, who do you see as a comparable or good replacement? Whether it be somebody in the draft that you guys would maybe go and get at the position that you would be in, or a free agent guy. Like I said, if you guys do not give Purdy the bag, if he wants to break the bank, obviously you guys can't keep him. But if not Purdy, who else do you think would be good to kind of fit in with this offensive system?
I mean, with this offensive system, you got to be accurate. That's first and foremost. That's what killed Garoppolo and anybody else who's been in this system that Shanahan runs. Like you can't have second and tens when there was a dump off or a play over the middle to have. So I mean that's why Purdy has been so effective because he hits the singles and doubles all day long, and then every once in a while he'll throw a ball in the middle of nowhere and no one's seen. He hits a big ass home run. So I mean, in the draft, I don't see anybody in the draft that's coming out this year. I mean, Carson Beck got hurt yesterday, so Lord knows what's happened with his shoulder, how long he'll be out. I mean, Ewers is someone that's been injury prone.
That
so
guy's not a pro quarterback.
I was like, I don't see that either.
Man.
I mean, and Shedeur Sanders isn't going to be around, for the Niners to pick him up. And other than maybe Cam Ward, but he's someone that's a raw talent too. You'd have to trade up and do it. But we've seen how that worked out when we tried to get Trey Lance. You know what I mean? I don't think that the organization is going to sign off on, giving 2 or 3 first-round picks again go get someone that might be a project. And unless it's a Sudar Sanders, then absolutely. But right now, some of the college
Any free agent guys out there? Guys that like a Sam Darnold maybe coming back.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
I doubt that they do that. Like unless it's
Shanahan likes Sam. I think Shanahan likes Sam.
They pay him, and if they pay him, why
well, I mean, if you're gonna pay Sam Darnold, you might as well pay Purdy.
Brock Purdy. Yeah, that's my point. I was gonna say right now, like those guys are pretty close to being the same in my book of like how they play, what they bring to the table. And
Purdy,
Sam has a bigger,
he has a bigger
arm.
Yeah, Sam has a bigger arm, but Purdy's he's less. I mean, he can be old. Like we forget Purdy was a gunslinger in college at Iowa State.
Yeah.
He's a part of that Iowa State growth to where they are now, being in the Big 12 championship. But yeah, I mean, if you gonna get Sam Darnold, you might as well just keep Purdy and pay him the 50. Man, 50. That's crazy.
I mean,
the
yeah.
quarterback contracts is crazy. Like 50 million to Purdy, who I joke about him not being good. I just think that he's a big product of the people. I don't think Purdy makes the players around him better. I think that Shanahan and his talent around him have made him look really, really, really good. He is accurate. He has a winning record.
I mean, that's what I mean when we said that, though, like you're just saying, like when he was at Iowa State, like he was always the underdog at Iowa State. Like he was going into Oklahoma and Texas and all these
most
big
quarterbacks in college are. Most quarterbacks in college are like.
Yeah, but I mean, like I'm saying, but he wasn't at Oklahoma. Like he was at Iowa State. Like with less.
I'm sorry,
less
Iowa
players.
State. Yeah, Iowa State. I said Oklahoma.
So I mean, like,
but check this out. Check this out. Check this out, man. San Francisco, the 49ers, it's over, baby. It's over. Trent Williams, great left tackle. They don't grow on trees. Left tackles don't grow on trees. Not like him. He's generational. He was generational. And he's getting to that stage where he can't stay on the field, for, for an entire season. Kittles, he's getting to that stage too. It's you know what I'm saying? Time waits for no one. And Purdy giving him the bag, really? So you got some tough decisions. San Francisco has some tough decisions to make. You know what I mean? Quarterbacks don't grow on trees. We as Bears fans know that. Know that for sure. They don't grow on trees. And I don't see. I mean, you would pay Purdy. You guys are gonna pay him. Gonna give him the bag. Mr. Irrelevant. You don't have a choice. That's my point.
I mean, who else would you pay?
You know what? I'm a fan of the game. And so I look at Purdy like he's like Coach Chef said, he's like Sam Darnold, man. I wouldn't give him the bag. I wouldn't give Purdy the bag. But you don't have. I don't think so. I think he's a system quarterback, and Shanahan pretty much makes everybody look good. So he'll plug and play with him, man. It's his system. Plug and play. It won't take much. It won't take much as long as that you run that system. But you're gonna need a left tackle. You're definitely gonna need a left tackle and another tight end. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you got left tackle, tight end, and quarterback.
I mean, the good thing is they got a shit ton of cap space to do whatever they're going to do, whatever maneuvers they're going to make.
They also have
that. They have a bunch of room, and they have everybody that's important. They're all under contract, so it's not like they have to go pay. Other than Greenlaw, and I think Hufanga, I think is up for a contract too. But Greenlaw is someone who's been out with that Achilles this whole year. So he might take a friendly, come back for a year or two and might take a friendly deal just to kind of show that he can still do, what he does. Because there's definitely been a drop off at linebacker without Fred Warner, running mate out there. That middle of the field has not been, it just hasn't been the same.
And that's where all the talk came in at. That's where all that chatter and that banter came in at about Shanahan, leaving because the team is not. You know what I'm saying? What it used to be and what the future looks like for the 49ers. I'm not the one. I'm not one of the guys that said, give up draft picks to Shanahan, or give up draft picks for any coach. I mean, as far as the Bears are concerned. I'm not in that lane. We're talking about giving up draft picks for coaches because we need every pick that we have to continue this rebuild that we're on, man. But go ahead.
I think a big issue for us has been our depth. Like once the last few years, we've lost a lot of people on defense who've gone to other places who've gotten paid, and that's one thing that has hurt us is that when our big name, front line guys go down, the people behind them have been a huge step back, and they haven't been able to step in and do that plug and play next man up mentality. It hasn't really worked for us because the guys they brought in, especially that linebacker on the defensive line, they played extremely poor. They've been pretty shitty all year long. Let's just put it that way. Like, once Hargrove went down, everybody's running up the middle. Greenlaw hasn't been around. That guy Campbell on the outside can't cover no one. He can't tackle no one. Leonard Floyd, he literally moved out of the way for Gino on a key ass freaking stop. Well, so he can run for 20 miles. 20 yards down our ass. Like he literally stepped aside and watched her run right past his ass. So and that's after Bosa went out. So
that's Leonard Floyd, man.
It's just one of those things where
don't tell us about Leonard.
And so it's definitely one of those things where the guys who stepped in haven't been anywhere near the level that we had when that person went down. So that's one big thing. Hopefully with this money we can bring in some people, and I do hope that the Niners go back to when Trent Baalke was the GM, and they just focused on the line, the D line, on O line. We need to bring in a couple new guys on that the D line and some new fresh people on that O line. I don't give a shit what we're doing, but we do not need to go get a wide receiver.
They don't grow on trees, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But you got to invest that capital. You got to invest that capital. You got to invest that capital, and the first few rounds you got to go get that D line and O line. And I know it's not sexy picks, but I mean, when it comes to this time of year, when you're beating everybody up and pushing people 5 yards off that line, then it looks real good on the scoreboard. It might not be like anything that wants to draft.
So with Trent Williams, real quick. So this is what I see. Trent Williams is becoming the new Jason Peters, and the guy from Detroit, Sewell, is becoming the new Trent Williams. Correct. As far as that corner piece, the new generational type of one. So it's like Jason Peters a few years back was always thought of like how Trent Williams was, like that corner piece guy. He eventually aged out, and now that's kind of like the road that Trent Williams is going to. He's going to be the new Jason Peters, and Sewell is going to be like the new Trent Williams as far as like the
the case in point, Detroit when it invested hard into that O line, and look at them, they're beating the hell out of everybody. They got two running backs behind them, but
that's true. I was just about to say that's true, but that's a tear down rebuild. That's how Detroit O line and D line and running back.
They invested.
I'm saying, all I'm saying is that's a process. That's a process, and San Francisco is like every other 31 other teams in the league. Like when it's time to rebuild, it hurts. It hurts. It's not a matter of do you have the cap space, because you can plug in, you can grab some free agents. That's not a problem. But drafting the right players for the system, you know what I mean? Like Leonard Floyd. You mentioned Leonard Floyd. That's our first round draft pick. 5 years ago? Was it 5 years ago?
Longer than that now.
No,
it's
longer than that.
Okay,
he was like the number 10, number 11 guy.
I know some years back, but you see how that turned out for us. But he went to the Rams and got that ring. But by the time he got to the 49ers, he balled out. He balled out. He balled out for who?
The good thing for us.
Oh yeah. Got that ring. Yeah.
It's like we're not in rebuild mode. I don't think we're in rebuild mode. I do think we're in real retool mode, though. I think we got to start adding some, like I said, some depth pieces to our team and do some things because, like, even though some of the star players are getting, like you're saying, aging a little bit, they're not done. They're not washed yet. You know what I mean? There's still plenty of meat on the bone with a lot of these guys. Other than Trent Williams and Kittles, like are probably like the older ones, maybe Fred Warner a little bit, but even then, they're still
it doesn't look like
it. If everybody's healthy,
it doesn't look like it.
Healthy, well, that's what I'm saying. It
doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it from the average. I mean, I'm not a Niners fan, right? But as a football fan, the Niners, they suck. They suck, man. And the reason they suck.
It's just one bad season.
And the reason,
one bad season. All of a sudden, they're watching one bad season.
And the reason they suck, is because their players have gotten old or left. And check it out. It's not. It sounds easy. Yeah, it sounds easy. Like, okay, well, Trent Williams is getting old, Kittles is getting old. We'll just plug them in. We'll grab somebody. No, that sounds easy. You know what I'm saying? But as a football fan, it's like it's not that easy. It's really a rebuild. That's what I'm saying. It's a rebuild, man. You don't just because Trent Williams is getting older and that team.
It's not when you have to replace Trent Williams with anybody. You know,
when you have to make a decision on whether to give Brock Purdy the bag, this guy, and I'm saying he's average at best. He's a system quarterback, man. He's not going to light it up, man. He's not going to give him the bag. He is Love. He is Jordan Love 2.0, man. They're both the same. They're both the same, man.
Hey, Crooked.
Yeah.
Put that last message up by General Manager John, please. Every episode we have to deal with this. Yeah.
Read it, Coach.
Okay, including postseason, Purdy is 6-16 at home, 29-13 all time going into his 30th career win, 105-point career, blah blah blah. He is good and a winner. I'll take a game manager or off script nonsense. Now, I'm sorry, maybe I grew up a certain way, but the tail end of that sentence is bothersome to me. What does that mean? That sounds like code.
That's nonsense. That's nonsense.
Now, let's look at all the Super Bowl winners. Okay? He's very good, but he ain't won no damn Super Bowl. And that non-script nonsense, you know who else is a great game manager who's never won a Super Bowl, never even been? The guy who used to play in Minnesota, who's now the starting quarterback for Atlanta.
Sam Darnold.
What makes you an elite quarterback is being able to go off script when you have to make the plays that are not. Everyone, look, that's why John Gruden failed as a coach, because if you couldn't go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 1, step 2, everything is not going to work perfectly. What's the Mike Tyson quote? Everyone got a game plan till they get hit in the mouth.
And they get punched in the mouth. Yeah.
You have to be able to play both on time and off time, which means that when things are hectic around you as a quarterback or as a team, you have to be successful. Okay? Please miss me with that. You can't play off script. So Joe Montana never played off script. Tom Brady never played off script. They never scrambled. They never stepped up. They never bought time. Those are cold words saying Brock Purdy doesn't do that.
John
First
Elway.
of all, Brock Purdy is the quintessential playing off script because he does scramble. He moves around. He buys time. Stop with the nonsense.
I think more or less as long as he's talking about you just can't do it all the time. You can't live off script. I mean, you can make those splash plays every once in a while.
Of course you can.
But you know, that's why I take it like that. Like, but no, Brock Purdy definitely, like when they say he's a game manager, I got so many times I've seen him, roll to the outside and almost get his head taken off, whatever, and then
he's throwing
the ball 20 yards up.
He has 200 yards rushing this year. The guy plays on the move. He's athletic.
Exactly.
So
he had McCaffrey. He had a healthy McCaffrey. He had a healthy Kittle. You know what I'm saying? He had a healthy Trent Williams. You know what I'm saying? He had a healthy Devo. When all those pieces were healthy, the Niners were lighting it up. Now,
so guys,
they're trash, man. The Niners are trash. And it's because of age.
So
they're trash.
We're coming up to an hour on the show. We should mouth real quick before we get into score predictions and people that are still watching here. Drop in the chat what you think the final score of the game will be. Mouth, I want to hear from you real quick before you give us your score prediction. What is going to be the key things that the Niners are going to need to do in order to break their 3-game losing streak and win today's game against my beloved and our beloved Chicago Bears? And then give us your final score and what you think it's going to be.
Well, for me, they definitely got to pressure Caleb. Caleb has shown that if you pressure him and do what you need to do to kind of move around the pocket a little bit, that he'll throw to the other teams as much as he throws to his team. You know what I mean? So I think that's important. They can't let him sit back there and just kind of pick apart, the secondary, because he's definitely shown that, if you give him time and he's able to stay on script and do things like that, like he'll definitely, pick apart the defense no matter who you are. So I think they definitely got to pressure him, got to make sure he's uncomfortable back there. And they got to get on that third down. So you cannot allow any team to stay, 70, 80% on third down conversion rate. Like that's big. I mean, the Niners are huge on making sure that they like to go fucking holding penalty or something stupid on defense to extend drives for the opposing team's offense. So that's going to be huge. The discipline on defense for the Niners to make sure that they can get this, Chicago Bears offense off the field when it's time to get them off the field, and give them extra downs and drive extenders is going to kill us, because the defense has shown that they can go one or two series where they can be very good, but then they'll go whole quarters where they just let the other team just drive up and down the field on them and score touchdowns. So I mean that's something that's going to be huge for them to pressure Caleb and get him off the field when they got time to get him off the field.
Well, hopefully they don't do that and they continue to fuck up. So what do you think the final score of today's game will be?
I think it's gonna be a close game. I think the Niners will win. I think it'll be somewhere like 25-21, somewhere around that thing. But I think it's gonna definitely come down to a final possession, whether it's us driving or you guys driving. But I think the Niners win.
Brock Purdy's out for today, right? He's out.
I didn't see. I didn't see that. I know he had a sore shoulder. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Oh shit! He was out then. I'm
just making sure. I'm just making sure that you're picking your team. I get it. You're a 49ers fan, but you're taking them if Brock Purdy plays. Because if he doesn't play.
Brock Purdy plays. If he doesn't play, then I can flip that score. Then they're definitely probably looking
so give us a before and after. If he plays and if he doesn't play, score real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah. I think it's a 6-point swing either way. I think, if Brock Purdy does play, then I think we win by 6. And if he's not playing, I think we lose by 6.
So who's the backup quarterback for the 49ers?
Allen.
Second string.
Brandon Allen.
Brandon Allen's the one that had playing the last year. They got Dobbs on the team too, but for whatever reason they didn't play him this last time that Brock Purdy was out.
The astronaut? Yeah, he's off in space somewhere. That's why.
I guess. I would have ran with him. I would have ran with him over Allen, to be honest. But.
Guys, Amp, what do you think the final score of the game will be, and what do you think the key things for the Bears to win today? Like 6 games.
Okay, I got 27-16 Bears.
Okay,
I got 27-16. I believe that the Bears are going to come in kind of like fired up, pumped up, ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Mentally. And that's been a lot. That's been a lot about our problem. Yeah. And I believe that the Caleb is gonna just ball out, man. He loves the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? I think he's gonna ball out. And there will be no content. He is playing. Okay, so I think the score is gonna be. I think the score is gonna be 27-16 with Purdy.
Bears
with
win.
Purdy. And the Bears and Bears win. Yep.
All right. Coach Chef, thoughts on what it's going to take for the Bears to win and final score?
It's going to take 60 minutes. 60 minutes. 60 minutes of football. It's going to take another 30 minutes of adjustments after the half to adjust to whatever the 49ers are going to do. Great play caller in Shanahan, great play action, no matter who's the running back. They're going to find a way to move. It's going to take the Bears staying with their keys. I think they're going to blitz a little more than they typically do because Washington is calling the plays on defense now. So they're going to bring more pressure on Purdy. They're not going to sit back and let him throw like they did versus who did we just play who was horrible versus the blitz when we played the Packers, and like the numbers for Love were like he was like his numbers were really, really poor when he sent extra pressure, and Eberflus decided to not send pressure but like twice the whole game. I think Washington's going to be more aggressive.
Doesn't like the blitz.
Yeah, so same system, but you can blitz out of a 4-3 cover 2. You can blitz, you can send more people.
Oh yeah.
But even with Purdy playing with down the talent and everything, I think me and Amp are really close. I think it's going to be a 10-point game. I think it's going to be 27-17. I think that come the second half, if the Bears have a lead, I think we put it away. I think Purdy makes a mistake. And just the ability of not having the weapons and being having so many deficiencies on defense, kind of how we beat the Rams, although it was a closer game. But this team, and also the team's coming off of letting go their coach, so you're going to get that, like you said, you're going to get that interim coach bump. That's usually worth that's usually worth a half a touchdown. So that's like another 3.5 points.
That's at least a touchdown.
So yeah, I take them 27-17. I think it's close in the first half, but I think in the second half, the Bears decide to leave no doubt and put the game away.
Okay.
Yo,
very nice.
Carolina is beating Philly right now.
What?
Whoa.
By how much?
16-14. 16-14.
Okay.
They just sacked.
Sacked
Jalen Hurts. They just sacked Jalen Hurts and the former first round pick last year who got benched. Who people also said was the next Patrick Mahomes. That was a quote. They said that. He's looked pretty good today.
Oh wow. Justin
definitely changed.
He just was wide open. Sam Darnold just connected with him on a touchdown. Looks like the defender fell down there, and now he's doing the gritty in the end zone. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm happy with
now.
that.
What y'all want to drink today, man? We at your place today?
Yes.
I didn't hear you.
We're going to Mouse game. Watch the game there and get together and gang bang on him. Fucking.
Pause.
Yeah. That door's going to be locked, motherfucker.
Wow.
Really? Leave the alcohol at the door.
Is that what you guys are going to do? Is that what you guys are going to do?
Yes.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Really? Okay, I'm going to watch the Bears game.
Yeah, no shit.
To watch the Bears.
That's his goddamn mind.
He said it with such confidence.
No.
He said it with so much
I'm
confidence.
going to watch the Bears. I'm going to watch the Bears.
Slap the motherfucker twice. Other side.
Oh shit!
He's get adjusted real quick. Come on.
Sorry. I had to, man. That was just a funny moment for me. So, anyways, but no, we're gonna go over and check out the game over at Mouse House and stuff, and watch the game with some enemies there. So, but it should be fun. I do think the Bears will win, but I'm thinking that it's going to be a bit of a more entertaining game. Like I said, I'm worried about our defense still. I'm worried about our defensive line. It's definitely a vulnerability, and that speedster there, all it takes is a little gap there, and he's going to be off to the races there. We're still missing Brisker, and he's a vital part of our defense and kind of getting guys in place. I think the Bears do win, but I see it as a 34-31 victory.
Ooh,
so
high scoring.
Yes.
Nice weather in San Fran in the Bay.
That's what I'm saying. So
my bad. It's not even in the Bay. It's in Santa Clara. It's like a 30-minute drive. But yeah, still nice weather.
But still, San Francisco. Yeah, we still got them out from the Bay there. He's still in the Bay Area, nonetheless. But yeah, I do see it as a more entertaining game, more of a high scoring game and whatnot. So, but 34-31, Bears edge it out, break their 6-game losing streak, and kind of snuff San Francisco's playoff dreams there.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're almost over.
We'll end this. We'll end this. Yeah, we'll end this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
pretty much. I mean, like I said, you guys. San Francisco can't afford to do very much losing from here on.
No,
they're
they
more or less
can't.
in playoff mode now,
bro.
Yeah.
It's Arizona fans out here not even worried about y'all. I get people at my job talking about we just need the Bears to beat the Seahawks. We ain't even worried about 49ers no more. I'm like, damn.
that's because the Cardinals are freaking have their head up to their ass. Like if you talk to any damn Cardinals fan, they think they're in the Super Bowl.
I think they
did. They haven't played them twice yet.
Oh, they beat them first time.
That next game.
Yeah.
That next game's gonna be big for you guys. You guys at least a split.
That's one of the losses that we had. We were up by fucking 10 in the fourth quarter and let that game get away.
Mm-hmm. So,
all
right, y'all.
Little Annika Sorenstam fucking shit up.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Everyone that's joining us, please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe to us.
You gotta like us. Help the algorithm.
Yes, people like us. We're funny. come back. So anyways, guys, thank you again, like I said, for joining us. Check us out on Monday night. We have the fantasy football show for those of you that play fantasy football. We talk all teams, not just Bears. So the Mouth and I, we as my co-host there, we go back and forth talking fantasy sports. And then on Tuesday night, we will break down the game, the main group. We'll break down the game with T-Nick, Frank the Tank, Foulmouth Chris, and JB Stats. Will break down the Bears-Niners game. And then, of course, on Thursday night, we have Bull Spit, breaking down the Bulls games with Kristen and Emilio as well. So
we got the Bears next Thursday, right?
They play next Thursday?
Thursday? I
believe they play next Thursday.
We have a Monday night game now. Our next primetime game is Monday night against the Vikings. We don't have another Thursday
Vikings.
night.
Okay.
We do have it's a Thursday night game this year.
I thought it was the Thursday game.
It's the Seahawks game. The Seahawks game is a Thursday night.
Oh, okay. Game. So that's the second to last game of the season then.
Okay. You're about to get flexed out of that spot.
I put in my PTO for that, so I bet yeah.
You shouldn't have. You're about to get flexed. You're about to get flexed out.
Nah.
Nah.
No, we ain't get flexed out of that.
They put all the bad games on Thursday night. The Thursday night ticket. So the games that nobody wants to watch. So. But anyways, thank you for everybody in the chat that tuned in and joined us. Like I said, I know you guys could have had a lot of other options with the other football games going on right now, but we do appreciate all the views and all.
There ain't no other options.
This is the best option of all the options. So again, for
Real talk.
Coach Chef, Amp, Crooked Commish, and the Mouth from the Bay, thank you for joining us. This is the Chicago Clubhouse Network. And remember, y'all, if you can't be good, damn it, at least be good at it.
Bet.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
Yo, Amp.